Yeah, so good evening, everyone. I am Rashmi Singh, and I'm going to be talking about student life at Ashoka. I am joining Ashoka as the director, student life. And before I go ahead with my presentation, I'd really like to introduce myself and give you a little narrative about my life's trajectory. I passed out from school as a science student and landed up in Delhi University with a completely different stream. I switched on from sciences to the humanities and took up sociology thereafter. And found out that I think I was really meant to pursue sociology rather than medicine, which I was trying hard to. And yeah, so I completed my MPhil in sociology from the Delhi School of Economics. And one thing I'd like to share about my experiences as a student is that I was growing up at a time when the brighter students would pursue sciences, and people who really had no choices would pursue humanities. So yes, I took a big leap in that sense, and I decided I'll move on from my decision of pursuing medicine to becoming a sociologist. And ever since, I have been very passionate about sociology, and particularly because my experiences at the Department of Sociology at Delhi School of Economics were really, really fulfilling. And as much as I learned from our fantastic faculty about all my Karl Marx and Durkheim and Weber, my experiences as into the field, into the community, actually provided me with a much more grounding, a better grounding in research, where I got to understand about empathy and objectivity, and I got to understand how was one to pick up field notes or do a narrative or do an ethnography. So, well, I mean that's what is about my education, and thereafter, I joined in and became, I have been a researcher and an educator for now more than 12 years. So you must be wondering, what am I doing at Ashoka? Having left my comfort zone, and I have plunged into this project called Ashoka. Now, for me, Ashoka is really not a switch of jobs. For me, Ashoka is really a dream and an opportunity, both. An opportunity which gives me a reason to be the change. And having worked already with so many fantastic people around who are really special with such high levels of energy and enthusiasm, that you really feel compelled to be a part of this group. uh, yeah, so I really welcome you all to be, to partner this dream with us and to also lead us into this dream. Before I actually get into the specifics of student life that one has really planned, I would also like to talk about what really is a university. A university for me is not just a physical space. It's not just the buildings that make up the university. A university is really uh, brought into life through its intellectual and social community. And therefore, in that sense, you all become really, really important to us, because it is you who will bring in life into our campus, into our buildings, into our infrastructure. So then, what is so special about life at Ashoka, really? Uh, Life at Ashoka would be, all about synergies and synchronization. Synergies between the intelligent and the aesthetic built structures that we have, and the intellectual and the social community around. Uh, for me, it's the students, it's the intellectual and the social community that actually constitute what you call the live wire of a university. And in that sense, we're really looking forward to create that kind of space for you where you could really experience that synergy. And not only that, we also aim to synchronize our academic model with the co-curricular program. And I here really promise you one thing, is that there'll be enough education inside the classroom as well as outside of it. So our co-curricular programs will be as exciting and as inviting as the unique academic model that we plan to construct for you here at Ashoka. So, well, life in and out of classroom will be really high octane. Yeah, so now let me come down to the specifics of student life. One can identify student life at Ashoka along three parameters, or three key pointers. The first being of possibilities and processes. The second being of passion and creativity. And the third is one of community and accountability. And I would take each one of these separately and really give you a picture of what we have planned for you. Now, under possibilities and processes, our prime focus would be to open you up to immense learning experiences both within and outside the campus. The design or the format of learning will be completely ongoing and continuous, integrated, as well as very comprehensive in nature. And we've really structured the program into different layers. So the first would be on a more regular basis. So there's a learning that is going to happen, say, on a weekly basis, wherein you have your mentors and some of our faculty who really specialize in the co-curricular programs. Also experts as resource people really who are going to spend, say, 2 days a week on campus and engage with you. So now these regular programs could include, say, theater, they could include painting, music, environment, of course, culture and heritage, and a lot of such endeavors. Also public speaking. We really aim to create a tradition of public speaking rather than just holding a session, a debating session or an extempore. So yeah, so that's the first layer is of a more regular and permanent and ongoing engagement with mentors and resource people. The second is a little intermittent, which would be in the form of, say, workshops, in the form of orientations, in the form of seminars or lecture series, where you get to engage with with a different level of expertise. So you will have, say, public speakers and entrepreneurs like Santosh Desai on campus, and talking about the brand, the culture of brands and consumerism. And on the other hand, you might have somebody like Shri Anupam Mishra, who is an environmentalist, a Gandhian, and he's an expert on indigenous water conservation methods, has written extensively about baulis or rainwater harvesting. To somebody like Adilip Shankar, who is a filmmaker, to maybe a lecture demonstration by Madan Gopal Singh on Sufism and Sufi music. So that's the format, which is not a permanent one, but it will happen, on a regular basis, intermittently on the campus. The next layer is of institutional partnerships and collaborations. So we are planning, and we are almost doing our work on this side. Planning up what institutions are we going to collaborate with. For instance, for our venture into environment, we'd like to say collaborate with a Center for Science and Environment or a Center for Environment Education. In the sphere of culture and heritage, we might like to partner with INTAC or with the Aga Khan Trust, or also with the National Culture Fund. We'd also like to collaborate with a few NGOs like, say, Pravah or Pradhan, or, for that matter, some of the NGOs which would be working in the area where we're going to reside on campus, so in Haryana. I mean, that will help us to, maybe volunteer for our community outreach programs better, and maybe give back better to the local communities. So these are some of the institutional collaborations and partnerships that one is looking forward to. The next level is of exposure trips and internship programs which will be outside of the campus. So planning out internships, say with firms, or with business leaders, or with law firms, or with environment organizations, or with media partners, or going into journalism, working with people from different newspapers. So these are some of the internships that one could think of. Also, exposure trips, which would take you to the different social environments of our country. Going up to the hills, or exploring tribal communities in Chhattisgarh, or visiting tribes in Gujarat, or going down south, going to Pondicherry, going to the Auroville. So these would be some of the exposure trips that one has in mind, and there could be ample, and I'm sure you all would also equally contribute in terms of idea, and enable our programs to become stronger by the years to come. The next layer is of centers of excellence. Of course, we haven't really planned up a structure as yet on that, but we do plan to have initiatives around entrepreneurship and leadership in particular, and also plan to set up a very strong and effective counseling unit on campus that will take care of your emotional well-being, and also enable you to train into leadership. You become individuals who have opened up to taking initiatives on your own. So as you can see in the program structure that we have so far mapped under the student life, this program is really going to be an ongoing one. Something which will be completely integrated with the academic model that we have, and something which will also be integrated with one another. So these are layers which are not really going to be working in different compartments. So the structure of the program is such that your experiences actually will grow with all these put together. Yeah, and last but not the least, not to miss the events and the annual events and the festivals that we'll have on campus. And not just on campus, but we'll also eventually, participate in a lot of university and college festivals around Delhi. So that also, will integrate our own festivals, will also integrate with the festivals in other universities. Let me get a little more specific and help you visualize these years at Ashoka. Let me help you imagine what will you be doing at Ashoka campus. So, for instance, imagine yourself with your cameras capturing the buzz at Chandni Chowk, the gullies of Chandni Chowk. Visiting the Meena Bazaar. Uh, you know, uh, Capturing the flavors of the spice market at Chandni Chowk, or enjoying the mouth-watering street food there, to say enjoying a Kathak recital, or participating in the Tumri festival or the theatre festival at NST, to backpacking on hills, going on for treks and for camps near forests, up the hills, to also going into the sublime with the beautiful Sufi Qawwali at the Dargah at Nizamuddin, or walking along with Ratish Nanda, who's the one who's been instrumental in the conservation of Humayun's tomb. So doing a heritage walk with him is something which you should really look forward to. You could also look forward to being in, say, the beautiful Run of Kutch in Gujarat, spending time living together with the Basargura community there, living in their beautiful mirror-worked mud huts called the bungas, to being on the banks of river Narmada, romancing the fort of Mandu, or say the colorful weaves of Maheshwari, or also going into interacting with the Tanti weavers in Bengal. So that's the kind of engagement that we really look forward to planning up for you. Or you could also imagine yourself in Delhi mapping the Yamuna, going on a Yamuna yatra with a community of environment enthusiasts, or going into, say, the National Gallery of Modern Art, or visiting the National Museum, going to the Transport Museum. Um, or what about blue pottery and interacting with the chippigars and learning block printing at Sanganer in Jaipur? So, what I can promise you is this is going to be a journey, and a really long one, and very enriching and fulfilling. So that's the kind of uh, varied program structure that we have for you. Now, coming on to the next feature, uh, that of passion and creativity. So we do have our plans, and we definitely are planning to open up a lot of experiences and possibilities and opportunities to you. But we also believe in giving you enough freedom and ownership to form your own interest groups and clubs at Ashoka. So it's not just going to be about opportunities from our end, but you equally are going to partner with us and create your own forums of interaction, create your own interest groups and platforms of dialogue and discussion. Of course, needless to say that we'll offer enough support around logistics and infrastructure and approval around the formation of your own clubs. And through your clubs, we really want to bring up a culture of continuous dialogue, arguments, discussion, and inspiration. So imagine a 350 odd students living off a campus, out of which some of you would be, actors, musicians, playwrights. Some of you, would be dancers. Um, would be would have your own band groups, or some of you would have those out of box ideas. Some of you would be fantastic organizers and planners. So a club would really not again work, as I said, in isolation, but we really hope that your clubs will integrate together, and will merge together through various programs that you will bring up on the Ashoka campus. So imagine yourselves putting up a zero waste lunch on campus. Now, what is this zero waste lunch? A zero waste lunch would actually merge with the environment club, with the sciences club, for instance. With the Heritage Club, where our chefs could bring some interesting culinary traditions, and the environment enthusiasts would just map the waste management and ensuring that there's really zero waste generated. And the science enthusiasts might just talk about the calorific value of the foods that you'll be offering through it. So we are looking up to your beautiful ideas about clubs, and we really are looking forward to such integration of communities around, of people who come from such diverse social and cultural backgrounds. And learning can never be complete if it's not adequately shared. So we're looking forward to a lot of inspiration from our students also. Talking about creativity, now creativity for us is not just going to be about expertise in any particular area, for instance, music or dance or any other artistic endeavor for that matter. Creativity is more like a stimulus for us, something which will stimulate your mind, something which will help you open up to learn together, to grow up together, and to inspire each other. So that's the format of the clubs that we really are, and these are really just broad ideas. And I'm sure once we are all together on board, we'll have a more structured plan around the clubs. Moving on to the third key feature, that of community and accountability. I would now like to highlight that we really are not looking at an aggregate of indifferent, passive students on campus. We would aim to nurture mutual respect, empathy, and care for one another, a community of really sensitive and sensible and alert individuals who come together and who are willing to open up and share, who are really, willing to lead and take risks in that sense. We're not looking at individuals who will operate in their own comfort zones. We're looking at individuals who really will not only chase the dreams that they already have, but create more and more for them. So, uh, a group that's really wanting to try out new possibilities, to venture into the new domain. So, yes, a group that's not risk averse. We're also looking at a community which is humble. We really don't want to run programs and especially co-curricular programs around one-upmanship. But we really are looking forward to partnerships in that sense. And of individuals who, as they move out of the campus, are again willing to lead. So a community of individuals who also have the desire to give back to the larger society and the community. So that's what we really are aiming towards in the sense of community. And I'm sure through our student council and through our centers of excellence around leadership and entrepreneurship, we will be able to train you into leaders who are not risk averse. We'll be able to train you into individuals who are empathetic, who do not believe in judging people, who really believe in giving back to the society. So it's all about a community which is an active community and an interacting one. Now, what about you in all this? Where are you? So you are going to be our founding batch. And as a founding batch, you're going to share the excitement that we at the moment are experiencing. As a founding batch, you have both the privilege and the responsibility of really setting the tone of Ashoka, shaping its future, shaping what Ashoka will really look like, say, 10 years down the line. And you'll have people saying, okay, that batch, the founding batch really worked this out for us. So, well, that is my idea to you, and that is what we so far have planned, about student life at Ashoka. And I am more than happy to answer your questions and, respond to your questions. Okay, so I have a question. What would be the plan for weekends? Would we be allowed to go to Delhi if wanted to? Would there be shuttle services available in this case? Yes, there will be shuttle services available, and you would be allowed to go to weekends. Sometimes you would take that initiative on your own individually, and sometimes we would also like to plan up, say when I talked about the Tumri festival, come September, and the NSD campus and the Kamani auditorium becomes really vibrant with a lot of music and theatre festivals. So I'm sure one would like to, take our students for such engagements. So definitely weekends would be more vibrant and active. Not saying that our weekdays would be boring. How will these programs fit into our daily schedule? So let me talk about what a typical day at Ashoka would be like. So I imagine students of Ashoka engaging into their morning beginning with a little bit of reflection, a little bit of physical activity, and then moving into the more structured domain of learning, going into the classrooms and coming out of it, attending to tutorials. But come evening, an early evening, you will be seen all over engaging in a lot of creative, endeavors. You would be maybe some of you watching a film together, or you could be engaging in a performance poetry session, or planning up how the Ashoka magazine should look like. So evenings will really buzz around co-curricular activities. So, ma'am, I may seem like a big foodie here, but would there be food chains like Subway at Ashoka? Well, I guess I'm not the person who could really answer that, but I'm sure you will have good food on campus. Okay. So we have another question. I was wondering if it is a 5-day week at Ashoka or a 6-day one. What are the options for the weekend? Do we get to go into Delhi? I think I've answered that already. Of course, you get to go into Delhi on weekends. And I think typically it's going to be a 5-day week, but depending on the requirements of a particular subject, or say, if a faculty wants to hold a special class or a session on Saturday, they're most open to do that. So typically, yes, it would be a 5-day week for you. Okay, another one is, will there be a student council? If yes, what will be its structure and the process to be a part of it? Hi, Anurag. Definitely, there will be a student council. We in the middle of planning about the nitty-gritties of the council. What is the format of the council, but there is a larger idea that we have around council. So our student council will be an elected one, and we'll try and organize it around our own parliamentary, democratic and decentralized system. So as of now, yes, the idea is of a council which will be an elected one and which will be, democratic and decentralized, and of course, a council which will be representative and accountable to the larger community of students. So, say a format of like a sabha and a samiti would work. But we really don't have the structured plan as of now, but we're working towards it. And I'm sure soon as you all come on campus, we'll have better clarity on the council. Uh, what is the dress code at Ashoka? Interesting question. I think one has really not sat down to think on that, but what I understand of it is comfortable clothing, as would be expected of students. But really, we would not have a dress code. It's not going to be like you had in your school. Okay, another one. Will hostels have TVs, a common TV? Will we have a campus radio? Campus radio sounds interesting, and I'm sure when we all are there together on campus, we could think about a campus radio. Of course, we really thought about a day in a week or maybe 2 days in a week when we could have films screened for you all in the evening, and before the film was screened, we could have something like an Ashoka TV aired. But these are just ideas, and we'll really wait for you all to arrive on campus and work around these ideas. Yes, there will be a common room for students with, of course, a television. Does Ashoka expect to have any policies toward making the campus drug, liquor, smoking free? Yes, it does have, and it is a drug, liquor, smoking free zone. Okay, the next one coming up is, how much say will students have in framing the policies and rules of Ashoka? Um, we'll try to make the processes as representative of students as we can, but we'll soon have a more structured plan around that. And uh, depending upon the nature of intervention, the nature of policies, uh, we'll be deciding upon. But definitely there will be some forums and important ones where we will have student representation. For instance, we do plan to have a hostel committee of students, which uh, will also take care of the hygiene in the canteen. So would also be instrumental in keeping an oversight over canteen and the food that comes up for students. Uh, but yes, to the specifics of policies and rules, we really have to, still to sit down together and maybe decide in a while. Okay, so if we are participating in events outside college, for instance, sports or other competitions, how will the classes which we miss be compensated towards our attendance or related factors? The dynamic faculty that I have, I'm sure, will not encourage missing classes. But on an odd occasion like this, where you're really going to represent the country or the or the state, or you are going to participate in competitions which um, one desires you to participate in, we could always work around with the faculty. But as of now, we really have not taken a policy decision on that. A typical day at Ashoka, I think I've answered that. Okay, a typical week at Ashoka. So, all the mornings in the first half of the day will be more structured around classes, but the evenings would be more diverse in that sense. So, we could fix up a day, for instance, for film screening, as I said already. Sometimes we could have a band performance on campus, something. Okay, so this brings me to another idea. So what about a tea time beatboxing and jamming with bands in house? I'm sure a lot of you would be keen on setting up, or you would already have your music bands, and therefore we could uh, have some evenings slotted for beatboxing or band performances in house. And we could also have people, for instance, working, in the organic herb garden that we do plan to set up something of that kind. So the engagements in the evening through the week will be evolving and will be much varied in nature. Uh, okay, so about the hostel facilities, let me talk about the food plan. So beginning with, of course, we're trying to work out a very interesting mix of cuisines and a very healthy option for all of you on campus. So one is on food, and we also plan to set up, a cafeteria kind of a space which will be available to you even beyond the meal hours, say in the evening. Uh, we definitely will have a common room where students could catch up with one another, chat over a cup of tea or a coffee, watch a TV program together. And not to, of course, mention that our library facility will be a 24-hour facility for you. So, and engaging in various, say, sports, for instance. So playing badminton or volleyball or basketball together would be another way in which you'd be engaging in the evening. Uh, a 24/7 cafeteria is something we are still to finalize on that. We are hoping to make it 24/7, or at least up to an hour that that would be needed for our student, as because we also aim to function and operate our library 24/7. So I'm sure there'll be people who will go hungry in the middle of the night. So yeah, we're working towards that. We're still to finalize, and I'm sure Pratyush, who's the person who's actually handling food and other logistics of hostel will maybe answer that better. Yeah, some of the questions I think which I've already answered. A typical day at Ashoka, allowed to visit Delhi in weekends. How is the residential system designed? Sorry, I think I missed that. Will there be will there be a hall system, or will everyone be in a single hostel? Now, the residential system is actually structured around two hostel blocks. Now, these blocks are not very far apart. So, one of the blocks would be meant for the boys, and the other block would be for the girls. And there'll be a common mess where all of you would dine together. What will be a typical day at Ashoka again? When do the classes begin? I think the classes would begin around, say, 9. About the academic calendar, I am not the person who can really answer that. I'm sure Professor Gill can take that up later, maybe. Would we have desks with power outlets and space to keep laptops like the ones in ISB? Because I observed the classrooms. I lost my question. Uh, well, I think I lost that question somewhere. Would there be non-vegetarian food? Of course, there will be non-vegetarian food. Okay, also, ma'am, in the presentation, it was mentioned that there would be a 24/7 cafeteria. How does that operate, and would we be allowed to leave our hostels at night? No, you would not be allowed to leave the premises of the campus at night, but yes, you would, if the cafeteria functions 24/7, you would be allowed to access that. Okay, so I have some more questions about the allocation of roommates. That's something which is yet to be planned. So we really not planned that up, but I'm sure we'll work out a plan which will take care of different sensibilities and different requirements. So that will be, of course, on our mind when we work out plans of allotting roommates. Um, Campus Wi-Fi, yes, there is a campus Wi-Fi, and I'm really not into numbers and figures, so I cannot answer that for you. What is the strength of the Wi-Fi that we have? Um, Students' role in framing policies. I'm sure on some programs and policies we would involve and engage students, but there might be somewhere we would not be able to involve students, but not directly. But I'm sure always indirectly we will be updating our students and keeping them posted and also taking their suggestions along the various policies that we'll frame. Some more about the hostel accommodation, like how many people to a room and stuff like that. Yeah, there would be two people to a room. Okay, here's somebody who is very concerned about the bed size in the room, which seems small. I am sure I'll communicate this to Colonel Sood, who's actually overseeing the infrastructure there and the building, the campus. I'll definitely communicate this concern of yours to him. Sports facilities, yes, we have some amazing sports facilities, and Dr. Rachit Chauhan has a fantastic plan of, some exciting plans around sports, which I'm sure he's shared with the students already. Okay, some of these I think I've already answered. Uh, can we have abstract clubs? Wow, that's something very interesting. Astronomy art club. Oh wow, of course you can. And as soon as we have you on board and we are more clear on how the clubs are going to operate and what is the kind of structure that you would like your clubs to have, I'm sure these ideas definitely are workable. And this actually brings me to a stargaze on campus. So what if we have a telescope on campus and we organize, the astronomy club really organizes a stargaze? Excellent. So we have some really exciting and enthusiastic students. There's somebody who's talking about a Sherlock logical reasoning club. Wow, that's something interesting again. Are we allowed to bring private vehicles on campus? No, I don't think we'll be allowed to bring private vehicles. You will have access to bicycles, I believe, but I'm not very sure of this. So maybe one can have better clarity a little later in a while. Just seeking clarification, could you please let us know if the conversation is applicable to YIF as well? Yes, the YIF is also a part of Ashoka, and you'll definitely be on board in all that we've discussed so far as the co-curricular programs go, sometimes maybe as a mentor, sometimes signing up for clubs, and the YIF and the undergraduate will be well integrated into the system. About the Wi-Fi in hostel room, yes, there's a 24/7 Wi-Fi that's going to be available to you. Uh, so far as the food cost goes, I'm really not the right person to answer this. And as I said, Pratyush is the one who is actually working out the meal plans and the food cost really. So I really won't be able to answer this. Placement process, of course. Um, as we move ahead, we definitely have plans of setting up a career engagement center, and I'm sure many of our founders are entrepreneurs who themselves are leaders in their own ways, and I'm sure we'll be able to provide you enough support, both in terms of recommendation, both in terms of placements to different places. So yes, as of now, this is what one could share in terms of placement, but we definitely have, a lot of our YIFs already, have been involved uh, in Ashoka, have been employed in some wonderful organizations, and they're already been engaged, and with a lot of course support from the faculty side, support from the founder side. So I am looking forward to an active placement process as well on campus. That's a nice one. Can we arrive at campus before 23rd? Too excited? Ha! How I wish you could, but I think we'll have to go by some of our structures and rules and regulations. Does college finance equipment for the music club? Yes, we will be working towards creating a space for some musical instruments, but as per your own specific interests, and if you don't have some cumbersome gadgets, I'm sure you could bring them with you along as you come on campus. But we will also have uh, some space worked around instrumental music, and some infrastructure around instrumental music. Okay, so how much freedom would we have in creating new clubs and systems at the university since we are the founding batch? I imagine this would be a lot of fun. Yes, as I said, the formation of the clubs is completely your prerogative. We really are not going to prescribe clubs to you. What will help you and support you is with broad ideas. For instance, I think I've highlighted that earlier. Some of the broad ideas that we have in mind are around performing arts, films, visual art, science, music, theatre, art, literature, and journalism. So these are some of the broader ideas. Environment, of course, around which you could form clubs, but new clubs and the way you want your clubs to function will be completely your prerogative. Okay, here's another one. If we want to start a student-owned business at campus, can we get investments from the Ashoka community if ideas are good? Yes, we might, it would be great if we could vet out some proposals and ideas coming from students, and we could forward this to some of our founders, to founder members who, as I said earlier, are entrepreneurs and business leaders, and maybe we could come up with an entrepreneurship initiative on campus. Sounds fantastic. Updates on campus completion. Very recently, one had been on campus, and I'm quite optimistic. So by the time you land on campus, I'm sure you have all that you're looking forward to. Participating in events outside, how will the attendance be compensated? As I said, this needs to be worked around very closely in consultation with the faculty, and I'm sure as we progress on campus, we will definitely have systems worked around that. Uh, so long as we have not consulted the faculty on this, I would not really be able to give you a very clear answer to this. But you will definitely be participating in a lot of festivals and events outside the campus, and there might be occasions where we would need to make some concessions or maybe compensate for the loss through a planned system, and that will happen only with consultation with the faculty. Uh, Talking about a forum where admitted students can contact each other, yes, I'm sure we'll work this out at a later date. We definitely would try and engage the admitted students and create some kind of forum for them to interact with one another. And we are definitely working in that direction as well. So maybe in a while from now, you will have some way in which you could interact with the admitted students. The facilities in the hostel rooms um, is something that, again, I really would not be able to answer that with greater clarity. It's Colonel Sood maybe who will be able to answer this. But, you know, facilities would definitely mean a lot of comfort around living, and you have a Wi-Fi enabled campus. You would have all the basic amenities that would be essential for a healthy, fulfilling experience within the hostel as well. So I'm sure we have enough facilities to support and strengthen that. About vacations and curfew time, we really do not believe and really don't want to be an institution which works on policing. And about a curfew time, I don't think there's going to be a curfew time. But yes, there will be certain rules and regulations of entry, of exit, of maybe sometimes getting together, so that we all know where are we, and we would definitely be interested in knowing where our students are. So and this is only keeping in mind your safety and your well-being. Would outside excursions be funded by the university? Yes, some of our internships and fellowships would be funded, and some, as I said, would come through the invitation of proposals by the students, and they would have to be earned. So we would work out a system around some merit, some method of vetting out proposals from students, and then maybe granting those fellowships. What about the sports complex? All I can say, fantastic, and I'm sure Dr. Rajat has shared that with you guys already. Uh, what facilities would there be from day one? Yes, there would be some facilities, quite a few in fact, which will be there from day one. But the sports complex, again, as I said, would be an evolving one. Infrastructure really is something which takes a little time to actually be complete, but there will be many services around sports which will be there available from day one. No, the rooms do not have an attached bath, so every corridor will have a common bathing area and a toilet facility. It's really going to be a shared one. Yeah. Okay, so the daily schedule, the dress code, all this I think I've already answered. Okay, so Anurag answers this. He says, Yasha, there's a Facebook group where you can talk to all the admitted students, faculty, and admission team. Okay. Uh, what will be the hostel restrictions? Can we have club meetings in our rooms? The hostel policy is yet to be formalized and framed. So I'm sure one has better clarity on that maybe at a later date. So here's another one. Can we have interdisciplinary clubs or abstract clubs? Yes, we can. I think I answered that. We had a discussion on that. The astronomy art club seems really, really interesting. Okay, so I'm waiting for some more questions if you have. How do we move from the hostels to the facilities on campus at night? Yeah, we also are working around this and thinking about, say for instance, the library access and what is it that we are going to have. Yes, these are some policies and decisions that are yet to be kind of uh, framed and fixed yet. So they haven't been kind of finalized, but we will definitely, these are concerns also on our minds. Uh, could you elaborate on the placement process? As I said, uh, the placement or the career engagement center is something that will come up and will take some time, but we'll need to kind of reflect and come to decision. But we definitely have that on our agenda, and that something around placement will definitely be operational on campus. If you feel I have not asked some of the questions, you're please most welcome to ask them again. Maybe I would have missed some, so I'm waiting still. Okay, there's one on whether non-students would be allowed to stay over in the hostel. No, they would not be allowed to stay over in the hostel. Uh, I guess these are questions which I've already answered. I'm waiting for some more if you have, or some which I have missed. So maybe 5 more minutes to go. Okay, so another one coming up from Ishika. Will there be a possibility to complete any external co-curricular courses with the help of our Ashoka teachers? For example, practicing for Trinity music exams with the help of our music teachers. Um, there will be never a no from either the faculty or us. So what I can promise is we'll try and support and help our students in whatever way we can. So I'm sure everything can be worked around for you all. So 2 minutes maybe now. Okay, here's a question on the dining hall. How does the dining hall work? I heard Sodexo is taking up the contract. Yes, it is. So how will food cost be accounted? Do we get Sodexo passes for which we'll pay later? Again, this is something which I really would not be able to answer, but I know for sure that Sodexo will be the one who gets the contract. Okay, about guest rooms for parents and others to stay, yes. There will be guest rooms, and since these are going to be limited in number, they would maybe work on the first come first served basis. But other than that, we also have some sort of arrangement at the place where our YIF students are going to live. So that's there, and of course we all are there to help parents and support them with places where they could stay even a little outside the campus. But yes, there are guest rooms for parents, but as I said, these are limited in number. Okay, these I think I've answered. Okay, here's another one. I think a similar question on trips outside the university. So, are student trips all over India funded by the university? This again is something which will require some thought, but there will be definitely trips all over India outside of the university, and the format of this, could maybe sometimes work around fellowships, as I said. So, vetting proposals, some which could be completely funded by the university. So there will be more clarity in some time ahead of us, when we think of trips. But definitely there are going to be exposure trips outside of the campus in Delhi and maybe even outside Delhi, Haryana. Are we having more webinars? Uh, yes, we will, and you need to check the website and write to us about the topics that you'd like to discuss. And this was fun. I mean, it was really exciting to interact with you all. Of course, I couldn't see your faces. That's something which I missed. Arrangement for laundry. Yes, there is a laundromat that will be provided for both the boys and the girls. And the payment system is again something I am not sure of at the moment. Is there a stationery shop on campus? Yes, we're looking forward to creating a needs outlet kind of a thing, a tuck shop where all your basics would be available, and stationery, of course, would be a part of that. Uh, the YIF accommodation is not on campus. It's 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 something which again I would not really know the exact answer to, but it is, they're not living on campus. So okay, hair salon, yes, for both boys and girls. As I said, we would create a space around the basic needs, and that will answer to all this. An ATM utility shop, yes, that would be up on campus for you. Uh, how many people can the library cater to at one time? Well, there would be enough space in the library, but in terms of numbers, I really am at a loss. I'm sure Dr. Rangushri will answer to this maybe in a better way. By the way, Dr. Rangushri is a librarian on campus. Okay, another one, maybe the last question. How will we be engaged during weekends in our free time? As I said, weekends would definitely sometimes on occasions mean stepping out of the campus and going into the cultural hub of the city, Delhi, which you're near to. So, and sometimes maybe we could have programs which could be organized by some of our clubs and some of the interesting clubs that you guys are thinking about. So to keep us engaged on weekends. And weekends also would, give you space, and I'm sure weekends will be the time really when you would also individually and independently like to venture into the city, into the national capital, which is the culture hub. Uh, so okay, I think it's time to wrap up. If we have any unanswered questions, we will respond to it. Our team here will very shortly be responding to these. And for more questions, you can contact me on email. And my email ID is srashmi05@gmail.com. So bye bye and thank you all so much. It was really fun talking to you all. Bye.